Hi everyone, welcome back. So I have a Shop My Stash video today. I'm going to recap the products that I was focusing on in January. We'll go to my dressing table, pick out some new makeup to play with, and then I will actually put these on my face. And I don't usually do that in these videos. I tend to just recap the products and pick out some new ones and then kind of end it there. But I've realised that you guys don't actually then ever really see those products, you know, in the flesh, as it were. You don't really ever see me apply them and wear them, so I am gonna, you know, switch this up a little bit and put the products on. So that is why I am makeup free today. So let's start off with recapping the previous makeup items I was working on in January. So these were the makeup items that I was working on in January then. So the foundation that I had was the Bare Minerals Original Loose Mineral Powder Foundation, and I used this 5 times last month. Now, I used to be really into this foundation. I used to really love it, and to be totally honest with you, it is still a nice foundation. It's a very natural looking foundation, so it is your skin but better. It does give your skin this really healthy, natural complexion. And because it's a powder, you don't have any of those possible telltale lines that you can sometimes get with a liquid foundation, you know, like around the hairline. There's none of that with this. But I'm not really into powder foundations anymore. I just find them quite drying. They're just not my favourite type of foundation to use anymore, so I did only use this 5 times. And I wasn't really tempted to use it any more than that, and to be honest, I don't really dip into that much anyway. This is a foundation that just tends to kind of sit in my collection and not really getting used, but it is a really, really beautiful foundation, but it's just not my favourite anymore. There was another powder in the Shop My Stash, but this is more of like a face powder, like a finishing powder. This is from Vive, and this is the, what do they call it? The Modern Powder Perfector, and I've got this in the shade Light. This was the first time that I tried this month, because I think this was either a Christmas or a birthday present. And I love this powder. This is so easy to work with. You get a load of kickback from it though, that's the only downside. You just have to dip your brush into it lightly and there's a load of kickback. But the powder itself is really beautiful. It's really nice to give some colour back into the skin after you've used a powder to set your under eyes, for example. This gives more of that natural complexion, that natural colour back to your face. This was also really good as well at covering blemishes. And another Vive product that I really love, and I love the packaging as well, makes it look really luxe. And I actually used this 13 times. Another Vive product, and I've got quite a few Vive products in this Shop My Stash, but I suppose I've got a lot of Vive makeup anyway. This was another either Christmas or birthday present. This is the Skin Dew XL, so this is the large size of the liquid highlighter. And although I'm not really much of a highlighter fan, I have wanted to try this one for quite some time because I've heard some amazing things about it. And it is a beautiful highlighter. It's a very warm gold, like a yellow gold highlighter. No glitter in it, but it's a nice, beautiful sheen on the face. So it's really radiant and luminous. Very easy to use, but what I don't like is the applicator. So it has this kind of twisty nozzle here, and too much product can actually come out here. So what I've heard some people do is actually decant this into another pot. So when I'm using this, I have to kind of stack this in like a palette holder to keep it upright. So that's really the only downside in terms of the packaging of this product, but the product itself, really beautiful. Loved using this, and I actually used it 8 times. Next was my blusher. This is from Stila, and this is in the shade Lilium, and I actually spoke about this in my makeup that doesn't suit my House of Colour season, but actually I have found a way to make this work, and it's really simple. I just use my fingers to apply this because it gives a much more diffused, much more of a blended appearance into the skin. If I use this with a brush, it's too pigmented and it is too cool toned, but just using my finger to blend this out somehow makes it not as cool toned. It's really quite bizarre, but I love this blusher and I'm so happy that I can make this work for my complexion, for my skin tone. Absolutely beautiful blusher. I might start putting this in my project pan though, because it only has a 6-month shelf life, so I don't want this to go off. And I ended up using this 12 times. The Vive Muse palette was my focus palette this month. I used it 5 times. I am trying to hit pan on Regal, this shimmery purple one up here, but the rest of the palette I used 5 times, and it's a really muted take on pinks and purples. Some of the shades are quite warm, but some of the shades are cool tone, so you do have a nice sort of mix. But if you like pinks and purples but you don't like the really super bright girly bubblegum shades, this is much more of a muted, toned down version of your pinks and purples. And Vive eyeshadows are so incredibly easy to use as well, and the shimmers in this palette are much better than the shimmers in the Essentials palette. I also included a single eyeshadow. This is from Kiko and I got this during the Black Friday sales. It's one of their water eyeshadows, and I only use this twice because this is a bit weird. You have to kind of use it with a wet brush because it is a water eyeshadow. It does look better being applied wet, but then you've got wet eyelids. It's a very weird, uncomfortable formula to work with. The shade is very beautiful though. As you can see, it's like a nice light warm golden yellow, but it's just the texture of this. So this is one I need to play about with a lot more. I only used it twice last month, so definitely one that I need to kind of keep bringing into things like Shop My Stashes or project pans. I used this shadow stick from Kiko 5 times last month. I really like the formulation of this shadow stick. It's really easy to work with, blends out beautifully. It's just that the shade is all wrong. It is a very cool toned purple taupe. Not the kind of shades that I should be wearing, makes my eyes look a bit sunken, highlights my dark shadows even more, so I might end up decluttering this, but I really like the formulation of the shadow sticks. I think I want to get some more of these, but in the right shades for me. I also included a couple of eyeliners as well. On the left is the Peaches and Cream Papyrus eyeliner. This is a nude, so this is great for the waterline. I used this 10 times during the last month, and then 6 times I used the Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner on the right. You've got a metallic rose gold pink, and then there is a matte dark purple. Nice enough eyeliner to use, but I don't really like going for sort of pinks and purples anymore. So January's Shop My Stash was very pink and purple heavy, and then I've got 2 pink lip liners to kind of fit in with that as well. On the left is nude pink, this one here from NYX. I wore this one 7 times, and then this is the Vive lip liner in Stupid Cupid that I wore 6 times. The Vive one is just slightly darker than the NYX one, so it was nice to kind of wear them together to create that kind of gradient of colour. Both have really nice formulations, but I do find that the Vive lip liners can go a little bit sticky, so I think my preference is probably the NYX one. And then the lipstick was Cherub's Kiss from Vive. It's this kind of cool toned pink. If you apply this directly to the lips straight from the bullet, it is very drying. Now these are matte lipsticks, so they are going to be quite drying. Pigmentation is great though, you get really high coverage of pigmentation. It's just that I don't like the shade on me, it's too cool toned. So what I prefer to do with this is have some lip balm on first, and then just gently kind of blot this onto the lips to get a bit more of like a lip stain or like a tinted lip balm effect. That was much more flattering, but I do think I will probably end up decluttering this because this isn't the right shade for me. Okay, let's choose some products to work on then. So I have a little bit of kind of everything in this container here. I could probably do going through these containers and sorting them out a bit better, but let's kind of see what we can do. So that and that were in my previous Shop My Stash, so those 2 are going to be a no. I am rotating in every month a new foundation to work on. However, I did recently buy the L'Oreal True Match Nude Plumping Serum. I've only used this once. I used it in my over 30s makeup tips video and I've not used it since, but I really loved it, so I want to get using this one a bit more frequently. So I think this is going to be the foundation in my Shop My Stash, and then I can just rotate it with whatever foundation I include in my project pan. This is new. This is the Skin Nova from Vive. I bought this a couple of days ago and it arrived on the Friday, so I'm filming this on the Sunday, and I only used it once. I've only used it yesterday, so I want to include this one again and see what my opinion of it is. I'm not going to take a concealer because I'll have a concealer in my project pan. I do think I want to include this little Rare Beauty blusher in the shade Joy. I've not used this in a good couple of months, so I should probably start using this one. Super pigmented blushes, really, really pretty. And this is a lovely, bright, vibrant orange. I also want to take a lip gloss as well. I might go for this one, which is by Kiko, and this is in number 19, and it's like a dusky brown pink. It's like a really good neutral shade, so I think I want to include that one. And then I've got some eyeliners at the back here and some shadow sticks. I think I'm going to include one shadow stick because these need to be used up soon because they don't have a great shelf life. So I'm going to go for the Vive one in the shade Sand, which is a really good nude for all over the lids. It can be a base for other colours, but I can also wear it on its own. And I'm also going to use my brown eyeliner from Kiko. Really lovely eyeliners, but I just haven't really reached for them that often, so good to get this one back out. And I'm also going to use as well one of my loose glitter pigments from Peaches and Cream. This is in the shade Peached, and it is, like the name suggests, like a very warm light peach. And I've not tried this one, but I've seen so many pictures of this and it looks beautiful, and that's why I bought this shade, so it'd be good to try this one. So in here I've got a little bit of a mixture of some eyeshadow and some cheek products, so I'm going to say no to the Wet n Wild one. This is a bronzer duo, but I'm still kind of focusing on my bronzer in my project pan. I might include this in next month's Shop My Stash though, because this one really needs to start being used a bit more frequently. So that's a face palette, powder, a couple of blushes. I think I'm going to include one of the blushes in my project pan though, so I will have that blusher along with this blusher from Rare Beauty, so I will say no to an additional blusher for now. So these are some eyeshadow palettes, and I think I want to include like a focus eyeshadow palette for this month. So because we're going to be in February, it's the month of Valentine's, why not take a pinky eyeshadow palette? So this is the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. Look, I've hit pan in one of my shades. So I'm going to include this one because you can get some really nice neutral looks, but if I'm feeling a little bit more bold, I've got some reds in here and some pinks. So this will be my palette for this month. There's some more kind of like cheap products in here and then a couple of eyeshadow singles. I've got a new blusher which is also by Rare Beauty. So this is the Melting Blush. This is in the shade, is it Nearly Apricot? Yeah, Nearly Apricot. So I'm intrigued to see how this one kind of compares to Joy. So I'll use this one as well. Okay, lastly, let's pick some lip products. Now, what with February being the month of Valentine's, I'm going to go for my pink lipstick from House of Colour, which is this one here in the shade Autumn Shimmer. I did put this one on in my House of Colour lipstick video, so I will link that if you want to see that. But this is my kind of pink lip, so it's quite warm and rich and earthy, so I'll include this one. And that'll go quite nicely with Peekaboo Neutral, this lip liner from NYX. And then for more of like a brown neutral shade, I'm going to take this NYX lip liner in the shade Global Citizen with Soft Amber from House of Colour. So this is a nude lipstick, but this has much more of like an orange base to it. So these are my choices then. I've got a primer, I've got a foundation, I've got two blushes, and then I've got a lip gloss, two lipsticks, two lip liners, an eyeliner, eyeshadow stick, glitter pigment, and one eyeshadow palette. So let's go put some of this on my face. Okay, let's start off with this Vive Skin Nova. This is new. I got this at the weekend and I have used it a couple of times, but it doesn't want to pump out products. Come on. Wow, there we go. That took a while. So this is an item from Vive that I've had my eye on for quite some time. Now I actually own a load of Vive makeup, but this one I just hadn't purchased. But I've heard so many good things about this item. It's meant to be one of Vive's like most highly rated, most loved products. And it feels really hydrating. It feels really lovely to work into the skin. And I've heard as well that if you apply this on a really regular basis, it does make your skin feel more hydrated, it looks more plump, it looks healthier. So I think this is one of those makeup products that has really good skincare benefits as well. So that's nice that it's kind of like a skincare slash makeup hybrid product. And that was 2 pumps and that blended in pretty well. Scent wise, it's got a little bit of a scent and it's left my skin looking a little bit glowy. So if your skin was a little bit better than mine, I do have some breakouts at the moment, then you could probably leave it here. So next is the L'Oreal Skin Tint. This is like my second or third time using this item. I've really liked it the very few times I have done. It gives your skin like a really beautiful glow. Not a lot in terms of coverage, but then it's not really meant to be a high coverage product. It's just meant to give a nice bit of light coverage, a little bit like your skin but better. so I will need a bit of coverage on those blemishes, but I like that this gives you a really dewy, radiant, luminous glow, and it feels really hydrating as well. So this on top of that primer, they might be a really nice combination. Yeah, it's not really covering that spot, but I'm not expecting it to. I accidentally skipped colour corrector under my eyes, so I'm just going to do a little bit of this and then a bit more of the foundation of the tinted serum. Yeah, just a little bit more of that tinted serum on my cheeks where I've got these blemishes at the moment. Also, fun fact, I've recently signed up to Skin and Me. I did that today, so I'm excited to see what prescription I'm going to be given. Definitely need a bit more coverage, so just going in with my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, a bit under my eyes and then some on these blemishes. And whilst that sort of sits for a bit, I'm just going to do my brows with a little bit of brow gel. I don't have much of this left at all. This doesn't really feel very wet anymore, so I don't think this is going to take much longer at all to use up. Oh, this is the 24-hour brow setter by Benefit as well. I'm saying it like you know what I'm on about. And then a bit of NYX Micro Brow in the shade Taupe, just to fill in some of those little gaps. This primer is making it really easy to blend out concealer. I don't often blend out concealer under my eyes, especially with a brush. I feel like it's very drying, like it's very obvious, it doesn't really like blend in very nicely, but my face feels really hydrated. And it's blending out this concealer over the top really quite nicely. I'm using a bit of my current favourite cream bronzer. Well, I say my current one, it's my only one, but it's so easy to work with. This is the Revolution Ultra Creamy Bronzer in the shade Light. And I just think it's such a beautiful, creamy, healthy looking bronzer. Quite pigmented though, so only go in with like one dot at a time and build it up, but so easy to work with. I'm going to use the liquid blusher in the shade Joy, just one dot. That is all you need. And trust the process. This is one of these products that you start using and you're like, oh my god, this is going wrong, I've messed up somewhere, what on earth? But just keep blending it out and it will be okay. But only use one dot. If you want to use more, do that after you've blended out one dot, because they are so pigmented, especially this shade, which is Joy. And actually it blends out fine in the end. It's just that initial one dot where you think, oh my goodness, this is too much. One dot is too much, but it's not. And actually I think I could do with just a little bit more on this cheek. I don't think that dot was quite as big as the dot on the other side. I will powder my T-zone a bit though with the Laura Mercier loose powder, just to bring down some of this shine along the T-zone. But I want like the cheeks to still be a bit dewy, and I do also bring this up a little bit just to neaten up anywhere where like the bronzer might have travelled downwards. Just bringing back a little bit of colour onto the cheeks with my Fenty Shady Biz bronzer. This is in my Project Pan. And then for a bit of blusher, I'm just going to use the peachy shade from the Vive Dimensions palette in the shade Dawn. This blemish doesn't seem to have been covered particularly well with the concealer. So I'm just using a bit of this Vive powder. This is in the shade Light, and this is really good for covering blemishes. It's not going to completely cover it, but I just want it toned down a little bit. I don't want it appearing too much. Yeah, that's as good as I'm going to get it. Let's prime my lids with the eyeshadow base, the NYX eyeshadow base. That's in my project pan. That is still going strong, but not as much product is coming out now. I know I've been saying that for weeks, but it is true. So I think I'm going to have to keep the eyes quite kind of warm because the cheeks are warm. I haven't really chosen a pink blush, so I don't think I'm going to be doing like a pinky makeup in today's video. I think if I did a pink eye with the Modern Renaissance palette, I think that would look very weird with the peach coral cheeks that I've got going on. Also, these eye wands are so easy to use. You just draw it on your lid, blend it out with a fluffy brush, and you're done. So easy. I do tend to set them though, because I do find that on my eyelids they are a bit oily, so they will start to crease after 5 or 6 hours, I think, from memory. But if you set them with a powder, you will get more longevity out of them. Okay, so with this palette then, I think we're going to kind of have to stick to these shades, avoid these pinky shades here today, because also they're not going to go with the red top as well. So I think then if I go for a bit of raw sienna in my crease. Now I do want to use some of that peached glitter, so I think I'm going to go for a bit of Railgar in the outer corner, the outer third, to make this eye look a little bit more orange. I will blend that a little bit, so don't worry if it is looking a bit dodgy at the moment. I'm just packing on some of this pigment and then I'll soften it a little bit. Clean blending brush, just softening that ever so slightly. It's a little bit patchy, this shade. Right, fun bit is the glitter. Now I was kind of in two minds as to whether to get these glitters. I bought these during the Black Friday sales. These are from Peaches and Cream, and I was only going to pick up one, but I thought, oh, you know what, it's 3 for 2, just get 3. And this peach shade really called to me because I think this was quite a popular bridal one, so it's really soft and romantic and really, really pretty and girly, and I thought that I had a lot of different eyeshadows that I could wear this one with, and this one is working so well with this eye look. And also they're just really easy to work with as well. I thought they would be a complete pain in the butt. I thought I would have glitter all down my face and you get none of that. They're just so easy to blend. I mean, I'm obviously doing this after I've done my base and I have no fallout. And I'm just using a flat packer brush, just gently tapping this onto my lid. I think you can use your finger, but this is the method I use and it works. And it stops my fingers getting really glittery as well. Just bringing this one up just a little bit higher on this lid so I can see it as I've got my eyes open. And just take that same blending brush and just blend that in a little bit. Just going in with a little bit more of raw sienna just under the lash line. Bringing it up to meet the eyeshadow, just for a little bit of definition under my eyes, and then a bit of tempera just under the brow bone just to tidy that up a little. I just want a little bit of eyeliner, so just putting some on the outer third, if that, outer quarter. And I'm just going to blend that in a little bit. I don't want, like I say, a line of eyeliner across my lid. I just want a little bit of definition, just like on the outer part of my top lashes. And these Kiko eyeliners are so easy to use. I was using a lot of MAC eyeliners last year and I am not a fan of their formulation. They are so drying. And then I bought these and they're so creamy. And they're like a third, half of the price perhaps. And I like that you get a little smudger. I'm going to curl my eyelashes to get a bit of lift, a bit more volume into them. And then for mascara, I'm going to start off with the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. This is in the shade True Brown, and I use this one first to get some volume into my lashes and to get some curl. And then over the top of that, I'll use my Clinique Lash Power Mascara. And I've started doing it this way because on its own, a tubing mascara doesn't give much volume, but over the top of a volumizing mascara, the tubing one will help keep that volume, but will stop it smudging. Okay, so we've got lips last then. Now because all of this is looking very warm, very like brown and copper and peach, I'm going to go for the brown lip option. So I'm actually going to start off with the lip gloss. This is the Kiko 19 lip gloss, and I don't want a load of gloss on my lips, I just want some shine. And I find that starting with a lip gloss and then going over the top with a lipstick and a lip liner just gives the right amount of gloss and sheen to my look. So I wiped off most of the excess of this lip gloss, and that's all we're working with. And then the NYX lip liner in Global Citizen, which I really need to sharpen. Ow. Yeah, note to self, sharpen this after this video. Doing my technique of not lining the very outer corners. I do still bring the lip liner like on the lip, but not to the outer lip line. And then the House of Colour lipstick in Soft Amber, just blotted on the top. And we are done. So a very me kind of makeup look, very warm, very orangey gold copper, very neutral. The eyes I really like. I think that peached glitter is so beautiful, so warm. I'm really going to enjoy it playing with that this month. And I love this L'Oreal base. Doesn't provide huge amounts of coverage, but it is a tinted serum. It's not going to. It's not a medium full coverage foundation, so it won't cover blemishes. And I do have, you know, this, which doesn't seem to have been covered particularly well. And I've got some more kind of like going on this side as well. But you know, skin is skin. We have blemishes, we have imperfections. And nice to get out that Rare Beauty blusher as well. I've not used that for quite some time, so I am looking forward to using that one a bit more. And also using the other one. This one, the Melting Blusher in the shade Nearly Apricot. Probably more of a muted version of Joy, but very interested in trying this. But also, this reminds me quite a bit of like Polly Pocket packaging. Do you guys remember Polly Pocket? Did you have one when you were younger? There's something about the roundness of the packaging, the writing, the actual font of the writing on this. I don't know, it just, as soon as I opened this when it arrived, I was like, that reminds me so much of Polly Pockets. Don't know if it's just me. But yeah, anyway, excited to try that one. So happy with my picks this month and happy to try some new makeup in my collection and get that ABH palette used as well, because that is quite a popular palette to use in the month of February to create this kind of like pinky red Valentine's type makeup looks as well. So thank you for watching. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please also subscribe if you haven't as well. It really would be lovely to have you here on my little YouTube channel. Thank you to those that have subscribed. I am currently round the 1,000 subscriber mark, so very, very thrilled that there are lots of you out there who are watching my videos. And thank you for all of your comments as well. I do really like hearing what you guys have to say. So if you have tried any of the makeup that I've used in today's video, please let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you again very soon for my next one.